We assume that everyone experiences their body in a similar way, but actually there's huge variation in how that happens. And for me, that is particularly interesting. My field of research is the history of the body, and I think this expression sounds a bit confusing to people sometimes because they think, but isn't the body just a biological organism, or what kind of history can bodies have? But actually historians have shown that our experience of our body and the way we view our body has changed drastically through time. University, I started studying anthropology, and I think anthropology is really good at showing that something you do that you think is shared by everyone is universal. Actually, many people elsewhere in the world do this differently. And I think this is especially important when it comes to the body. So in my research, I want to show that even very basic assumptions we make of our body, like, for example, the fact that we can work on and improve it, are actually not fixed, but they're the result of a historical and cultural development. What I found out in my research is that actually since the late 19th century, it's very much the view of the individual that changes and that allows this culture of self-improvement, because whereas before the body could be seen as something more superficial, so almost like a covering for something more internal, like a soul, for example, or one's character, from the late 19th century, more or less, it starts being seen as almost as on the same level as other parts of ourselves, like our personality, our character, for example. And so from the moment that it's just on a par with the rest of us, it stops being, in a way, so superficial, but it starts being something that you can really work on. There is this change in how people see their bodies, and they start to experience their bodies as something malleable, so almost something that you can kind of sculpt or prod or poke and change throughout your lifetime. And that this malleability can be both liberating and oppressive. Liberating, I think, because people started shaping their bodies in ways that went beyond limitations imposed on them, for example, when it comes to gender roles. But at the same time, there was also a bit of a darker side, let's say, because if a body is malleable, it can also be optimized, it can be improved. And so you also see people in the past really striving to change their body in a certain way, or being told that they have to conform to something. And I think this is also one thing that is interesting about history, which is that one same historical development can have such opposing consequences. I hope that my research changes how people see this culture of self-improvement that we live in, which is that when someone feels bad about the way their body looks, for example, because it doesn't conform to some standard, that they know that this way of feeling itself is actually part of a historical development, that it's part of a specific culture of self-improvement, and that it has been around for a pretty long time, but it doesn't need to stay this way.